So before we get going and actually talk about problems of the spine, whether it be a disc problem or a nerve problem, etc., I want to make sure that we've got some good understanding of what makes up the spine, what's in the spine, how does it work. So we have different parts to our spine. We would have what's called our neck or our cervical spine. We would have what we call our thoracic spine or our mid-back, our upper back. We would then have our lumbar spine or our low back, and then we would have what's called our tailbone or what we call your sacrum. So your spine is made up of these little bones called vertebrae. The little bones are like rocks that sit on top of each other, and they all sit on top of each other to make up a curve in your spine. So you have this C curve in your neck where the open portion of the C faces backwards. In your mid-back you have another C curve. In your low back you have another C curve. The open portion of the C faces backwards. And then in your tailbone or your sacrum, again you have a C curve. The open portion faces forwards. Now the importance of those vertebrae is that they provide the support of your spine. They're the column, they're the trunk of the tree, if you will, that holds everything together and keeps you upright. Those C curves all need to be in alignment with each other so that they create this pole that's straight up and down. The problem is if you have too much curve in one area, it starts pulling everything in that direction. If you have a good curve in your neck, but too little of curve in your low back, you can see how that change in that curve throws the rest of your body into a forward position. The same would be true if you have too much curve in your upper back. It starts to throw the rest of you forward and it puts tension and strain on different parts of your spine. Now the discs are cushions that sit in between the two vertebrae. And the purpose of the disc is really twofold. One is, if we were to look at this area right here, the disc in between these two vertebrae in your low back, the disc is creating a space in between the vertebrae called a foramen, the opening of which the nerve branches off from the spinal cord and comes out of that opening. So the larger that opening is, the more space there is for that nerve, the less likely it's going to get pinched on. As a disc starts to have problems, that space starts to close down. And in essence then, that's when you start to run into the potential for either the disc pinching on the nerve or the bone pinching on the nerve, which obviously causes numbness, tingle, and other symptoms. Now the final thing that's most important when we talk about the spine is all of the muscles. So again, if you're looking at yourself from behind, you have muscles that are running from your shoulder blades. If my hand was your shoulder blade, you have muscles that are running from the top of your shoulder blade up into the base of your skull. You have muscles that are running from the bottom of your shoulder blade down into your low back. You have muscles that are running alongside of your spine. On the side, you have muscles. On the front, you have muscles. And all of those muscles are working to hold that tree or that pole in that upright position. So it's the job of the muscles to make sure that the curve, whatever part of the spine we're talking about, that curve stays in its proper alignment. And as long as that curve of your spine stays in its proper alignment, you're going to be relatively spine problem free. You're not going to have any neck or back issues. But when the curve starts to change, like I showed you before, when the curve starts to change and pull forward, or when the curve is too much, it throws things out of alignment and it starts to create the neck and back issues that you have problems with. The manual physical therapist is going to be able to make sure that we bring that spine back into alignment, get the curve back into that spine, get the pressure off of that nerve so that everything gets a chance to heal, and now make sure that that problem is taken care of. So if you're having any problems, whether it's problems with mobility, problems with doing things during the day like bending over to tie your shoes, to reach up into a cabinet, to turn your head, etc. And again, it can be simple things like stiffness, ache, pain, or soreness, or it could be much more complicated problems like sharp pain, burning, numbness, tingling, etc. Any of those are because some portion of your spine is not in its proper curve, its proper alignment, and the muscles that are alongside of it aren't doing what they're supposed to do. And that's where the expert physical therapists at Loudon Sports Therapy Center come in. Give us a call, let's get you in here, let's get it taken care of, let's get your spine back into its optimal position and get you feeling healthy, feeling happy, being pain-free, and being able to do the things you want to do during the day.